"It hurts, but don't stop," cried the bride. "Only like this you'll belong to me," said the red desert of Archon Ridge stretched endlessly under a wide sky filled with distant stars and slow-moving clouds. Wind carried fine dust across the cracked land, painting everything in shades of copper and gold. Old metal towers stood like skeletons from another time, reminders of a colony that had once dreamed big but now survived day by day. Cole rode across the open plains on his hover mount, a machine built like an old frontier horse but powered by quiet engines. He preferred traveling alone. The frontier was safer that way. Out here, trust was rare and silence was often a better companion than people. Cole was known among traders as a space cowboy, someone who moved between settlements, delivering cargo, solving small problems, and avoiding trouble whenever possible. He carried a long coat to protect him from sandstorms and a calm expression that hid years of loss. Few knew his story, and he liked it that way. The sun dipped lower when his communicator beeped with a new contract request. He slowed his mount and checked the message. The job was unusual. No cargo details, no trade codes, only a location and one line of instruction. Escort the bride. High priority. Immediate departure. Cole frowned. Frontier weddings were not usually his business. Something felt wrong, but the payment offered was high enough to make him pause. He accepted the coordinates and changed direction toward a lonely outpost near the edge of the desert. When he arrived, the station looked abandoned. Broken lights flickered along metal walls, and sand had piled against the entrance doors. Cole stepped inside carefully, his senses alert. The air smelled of old machinery and fading power cells. He heard movement behind him. A woman stepped from the shadows. She wore ceremonial armor that shimmered softly, as if light moved beneath its surface. Dust covered parts of it, and one shoulder plate was cracked. Her dark hair was tied loosely, and her eyes showed both exhaustion and determination. "You came," she said quietly. Cole nodded. "You the bride?" She hesitated before answering. "Yes. My name is Lyra." Up close, Cole noticed she was injured. Her movements were careful, and faint energy pulses flickered along the armor like a struggling heartbeat. "What are you running from?" he asked. Lyra looked toward the open desert. "People who believe they own my future." That was enough for Cole to understand the situation was serious. He did not ask more questions. Instead, he gestured toward his hovermount outside. "We move now," he said. "Storm coming." The sky darkened as red clouds gathered on the horizon. Wind began to rise, carrying sharp grains of sand that scratched against metal surfaces. As they traveled, Lyra remained silent for a long time. She watched the landscape carefully, as if expecting danger at any moment. Cole noticed small drones far in the distance, moving like birds against the sky. "You got trackers on you?" he asked. "Yes," she admitted. "They will not stop." "Who are they?" "A faction from my world. They want me to complete a bond ritual." Cole did not respond immediately. Frontier cultures had many strange traditions, but something in her voice made this sound different. "What kind of bond?" he asked finally. Lyra hesitated, choosing her words carefully. An energy connection between two people. It was meant to be sacred, a partnership based on trust. But others turned it into control. Cole felt uneasy. "And they want to force you into it." "Yes." The wind grew stronger, forcing him to focus on navigation. He guided the hovermount toward a canyon path that could offer shelter from the storm. They stopped near a rock wall as the storm arrived in full force. Red dust filled the air, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Cole set up a small shield generator while Lyra sat against the rock, breathing slowly. Her armor glowed faintly. "You're hurt," Cole said. "It is more than a physical wound," she replied. "The ritual energy is unstable inside me. I tried to suppress it, but now it is breaking through." Cole frowned. "Can you fix it?" "Not alone." She looked at him then, her eyes steady despite pain. "There is a way," she said softly. "A partial bond. Temporary. It will stabilize me." Cole shook his head slightly. "I don't get involved in things like that." "I understand," she said. "But if the energy collapses, I will not survive the night." Outside, the storm roared like an ocean. Cole had lived long enough to know when someone was telling the truth. He also knew that helping her might pull him into something far bigger than a simple escort job. "What happens if we try?" he asked. "It will hurt," she admitted. "For both of us. You may feel emotions that are not yours. Memories may overlap briefly,
but it will keep me alive.
He stared at the glowing patterns on her armor. He had spent years avoiding connections, avoiding anything that tied him to another person. The frontier taught people to survive alone. Yet leaving her like this was not an option. Lyra extended her hand slowly. "If we stop midway," she said quietly, "the energy could collapse. So, it hurts, but don't stop." Cole hesitated only a moment before taking her hand. The moment their palms touched, light surged between them. It was not violent, but it was intense, like standing in a strong current. He felt warmth spreading through his body, followed by flashes of emotion that were not his own. Fear, determination, hope. He saw glimpses of another world, tall cities under alien skies, ceremonies filled with music and light, and a young woman refusing to bow to expectations. Lyra gasped, gripping his hand tightly as energy flowed between them. Cole focused on breathing slowly, grounding himself in the present. The storm outside faded into background noise as the connection deepened. Then suddenly the light softened. Lyra's breathing steadied. The glow on her armor became calm instead of chaotic. "It worked," she whispered. Cole released her hand slowly, feeling a strange echo inside him, as if another heartbeat existed just beyond his own. Neither spoke for a while. Outside, the storm began to pass, revealing stars again. Cole looked at her carefully. "We're not done with trouble, are we?" Lyra gave a faint smile. "No, this is only the beginning." Far above them, hidden beyond the clouds, a distant ship changed course toward their location, and the frontier night grew very quiet. Morning came slowly over Archon Ridge. The red desert looked peaceful from far away, but danger always hid beneath quiet skies. Cole woke before sunrise, as he always did. Years on the frontier had trained him to trust early light more than long sleep. He stood near the hover mount, scanning the horizon through a small viewing device. The storm had cleared, leaving cold air behind. Dust still moved across the ground in thin waves. Behind him, Lyra sat against the canyon wall. Her breathing was steady now, stronger than before. The faint glow in her armor moved in slow patterns, no longer wild and unstable. The bond had changed something. Cole could feel it even without touching her. It was like a quiet presence at the edge of his thoughts. Not loud, not controlling, just there. "You feel it too," she said softly. He did not deny it. "Yeah, like an echo. The bond is not complete, but now we share awareness. It will fade if we move too far apart." Cole did not like the idea of being connected to someone else, but he also could not ignore that she looked healthier. The choice he made last night had saved her life. He offered her water from his canteen. She drank slowly. "We should move," he said. "Those drones we saw yesterday, they'll be closer now." Lyra stood, adjusting her damaged armor. "They will not stop searching." They left the canyon and continued across the open plains. The sun rose higher, turning the land bright red and gold. Far away, broken towers marked old mining routes that once carried valuable crystals from underground cities. As they traveled, Cole noticed something strange. His reactions felt faster. When the hover mount shifted slightly over uneven ground, he corrected it before even thinking. A feeling of awareness guided him, as if he could sense danger earlier. Lyra watched him carefully. "The bond enhances instinct," she explained. "Two minds supporting each other." "I prefer one mind," he replied quietly. She smiled faintly. "You say that, but you chose to help me." Cole did not answer. Hours later, they reached an abandoned trade town. Rusted buildings stood half-buried in sand, their signs faded by years of storms. Old solar panels creaked in the wind. "This place used to be busy," Cole said. "Now people avoid it. Why? Too many ambushes." They moved slowly between buildings, careful and alert. Lyra suddenly stopped walking. "They are close," she whispered. Cole felt it too, a sudden tension like air before lightning. Metal shapes dropped from the sky. 3 hunter drones landed nearby, their scanning lights sweeping across the ground. "Move," Cole said calmly. They ran through narrow alleys. The drones followed, firing small energy pulses that struck walls and kicked up dust. Cole guided Lyra toward a broken structure where old machinery provided cover. He fired a precise shot from his sidearm, disabling one drone's sensor. Lyra raised her hand, and her armor glowed brighter. Energy waves pushed another drone backward, slamming it into a wall. The bond strengthened during the fight. Cole moved without needing to ask her intentions. and she reacted instantly to his decisions. Within minutes, the last drone fell silent. Lyra lowered her hands slowly. "They are testing us." "Yeah," Cole said. "Next time won't be so easy." They searched the area quickly and found a small vehicle garage still holding power. Inside, Cole located spare energy cells and repaired part of Lyra's armor. As he worked, he felt flashes of memory that were not his own. A childhood festival under alien stars, voices singing in a language he did not understand. He paused, surprised. Lyra noticed. "The bond allows memory echoes sometimes," she said gently. "I am sorry if it feels strange." "It's different," he admitted. She sat nearby, watching him. "You hide your past very well, but the bond shows pieces of you too." Cole looked away, uncomfortable. "Focus on survival." Later, as evening approached, they left the town and headed toward a canyon city called Red Hollow, a place known for black markets and hidden travelers. As they walked, Lyra spoke quietly. "When my people speak of belonging, they do not mean ownership. It means choosing someone who stands beside you." Cole listened, but did not respond immediately. "Those who chase me believe the bond gives power over another person," she continued. "They forgot the true meaning." "And what's that?" he asked. "Trust." The word stayed with him long after she stopped talking. Night fell as they reached the outer gates of Red Hollow. Lights glowed between cliffs, and voices echoed through narrow streets filled with traders, travelers, and machines. Cole guided her toward a small safe house he knew from past journeys. Inside, they finally rested. But peace did not last long. Outside, loud engines roared. Heavy footsteps echoed through the streets. Lyra stiffened. "Not drones," she whispered. "Hunters." Cole checked his weapon calmly. "Then we don't stay long." The bond pulsed between them, stronger than before. He could feel her fear, but also her courage. "You can leave," she said suddenly. "This is not your fight." Cole shook his head. "I took the job." "It is more than a job now." He looked at her directly. "Maybe." Outside, shadows moved closer. The hunters had arrived. And for the first time since the bond began, Cole realized he was no longer fighting only for survival. He was fighting to protect someone who trusted him. The quiet cowboy who avoided attachments felt something changing inside him, and he was not sure if he feared it or welcomed it. The night in Red Hollow felt heavy, as if the cliffs themselves were holding their breath. Narrow streets glowed under soft neon lights, and distant engines echoed between stone walls. Cole stood near the doorway of the safe house, watching shadows move outside. The hunters had arrived faster than expected. Lyra stayed behind him, her armor glowing faintly in calm pulses. The bond between them felt stronger now. It was not overwhelming, but it was clear, like a quiet connection guiding their instincts. "They know we are here," she said softly. Cole nodded. "Then we don't wait." He opened a hidden panel on the wall and revealed a narrow tunnel exit. Red Hollow was full of secret paths built by traders long ago. He had used them before when situations turned dangerous. They moved quickly through the tunnel, footsteps echoing softly. Lyra followed closely, trusting his lead without hesitation. The bond made their movements smoother, almost natural. After several turns, they reached an underground chamber filled with old machines and dim lights. A man sat at a table surrounded by tools and glowing screens. He looked up calmly as they entered. "Cole," the man said with a slow smile. "You always bring interesting trouble." "This is Ren," Cole told Lyra. "He knows things." Ren stood and studied Lyra carefully, his eyes sharp with curiosity. "Ah," he said quietly. "So the rumors were true." Lyra stepped forward cautiously. "You understand the ritual?" "I understand the technology behind it," Ren replied. "Ancient design. Not just spiritual, highly advanced energy science." Cole crossed his arms. "Can you help stabilize it?" "Maybe. But first you need to understand what you are dealing with." He activated a projection screen showing ancient symbols and diagrams. Lines of energy connected two figures standing side by side. "The bond was created to unite equals," Ren explained. "Two individuals sharing strength without losing themselves. It enhances empathy and awareness. But over time, some groups twisted it into a tool for control." Lyra lowered her gaze. "That is why I ran," Ren continued. "Right now your bond is incomplete. That gives you flexibility, but also danger. If enemies capture you, they could force completion and change its purpose." Cole felt tension rising. "And if we complete it ourselves?" "Then it becomes permanent, powerful." but also risky. You would share more than instincts. Pain, emotions, even vulnerability. Cole avoided attachments his whole life. The idea of a permanent connection felt like stepping into unknown territory without a map. Lyra spoke quietly. We do not have to decide now. Before anyone could respond, alarms suddenly echoed through the chamber. They found us, Ren said calmly, already moving toward control panels. Heavy signals approaching. Outside, distant explosions shook the ground. The hunters were attacking Red Hollow. Cole grabbed his gear. We need another exit. Ren pointed toward a lift leading upward. Take the ridge path. I will slow them down. Lyra hesitated. You could leave with us. Ren smiled faintly. Someone has to protect knowledge from falling into the wrong hands. They ran toward the lift as sounds of conflict grew louder behind them. The doors opened onto a narrow path carved into the cliffs. Wind rushed past, carrying sand and distant smoke. From above, armored figures descended using jetpacks. The hunters moved with precise coordination, blocking escape routes. Cole and Lyra moved together instantly. He provided cover while she used controlled energy bursts to create openings. The bond allowed them to anticipate each other's actions without speaking. They climbed higher along the ridge, reaching an open platform overlooking the desert. A small transport ship waited there, old but functional. Your ride? Lyra asked. Backup plan, he replied. As they approached, a powerful figure landed in front of them. The leader of the hunters. His armor was darker, heavier, designed to resist energy attacks. You cannot run forever, he said calmly. The bond belongs to our order. It belongs to no one. The leader activated a device that sent waves of energy toward her. The bond reacted instantly, sending sharp pain through both her and Cole. He felt it like fire along his nerves, but he stayed standing. Lyra whispered through clenched teeth, Do not break focus. Cole steadied himself, remembering her words from earlier, trust. He moved closer, sharing strength through the bond instead of resisting it. The energy stabilized, and together they pushed back against the attack. The leader seemed surprised. You are already synchronized. Cole fired a precise shot that disabled the device. Lyra followed with a focused energy pulse that forced the hunter backward. They reached the transport ship and launched quickly, engines roaring as the craft lifted into the sky. Below them, Red Hollow grew smaller as desert stretched endlessly once again. Inside the ship, silence filled the space after the intense battle. Lyra sat slowly, breathing deeply. You chose to stand with me, she said quietly. Cole leaned against the wall, tired but steady. Couldn't let them take you. The bond felt warmer now, calmer. After a long pause, Lyra spoke again. The Elder was right. Eventually we must decide whether to complete the bond or end it. For the first time, he did not feel alone in the vast emptiness. But deep inside, he knew the decision was coming soon, and whatever choice they made would change both of their lives forever. The transport ship moved quietly through the dark sky of Archon Ridge. Stars stretched endlessly ahead, cold and distant, while the red desert below slowly faded into shadow. Inside the ship, silence rested between Cole and Lyra, but it was not an uncomfortable silence. The bond between them felt steady now, like a calm river flowing beneath every thought. Cole stood near the cockpit window, watching the horizon. He had spent years traveling alone across planets and colonies, always moving forward, never staying long enough to belong anywhere. Now something had changed. He could feel another presence beside him. Not heavy, not controlling, just there. Lyra sat behind him, adjusting the glowing lines on her armor. The energy moved smoothly now, responding to her breathing. We are close, she said softly.
Close to what? Cole asked. The orbital gate, she replied.
It is where they will try to stop us again. Cole nodded slowly. The hunters would not give up. They had chased them across deserts and cities. The final confrontation was unavoidable. Outside, a massive structure appeared in the distance, an old orbital gate floating above the planet like a broken ring. Once it connected trade routes between worlds, but now it was mostly abandoned, used only by smugglers and hidden travelers. As they approached, warning signals flashed on the control panel. They are already here, Cole said calmly. Several ships appeared from behind pieces of floating debris, blocking the path forward. Lyra closed her eyes briefly, feeling the bond. They will try to force completion of the ritual. And we won't let them, Cole said. The transport ship landed on a platform attached to the gate. The metal floor vibrated slightly under their feet as they stepped outside. Wind rushed past, carrying echoes of old machinery. The hunter leader appeared again, surrounded by armored soldiers. His presence felt calm but dangerous. "You cannot escape destiny," he said quietly. "The bond must be completed under our control." Her voice remained steady. "Belonging cannot be forced." He raised a device that began glowing with strong energy. Pain surged through the bond instantly. Cole felt it like pressure inside his chest, but he stayed standing beside her. "This ends now," the leader said. Energy waves surrounded Lyra, trying to pull the bond into full activation against her will. She struggled to resist, her armor glowing brighter and brighter. Cole felt her fear through the bond. Not fear of pain, but fear of losing freedom. He remembered her words from earlier. Belonging means choosing freely. Without hesitation, he stepped closer and took her hand. "I choose," he said quietly. Lyra looked at him, surprised. "You don't have to," she whispered. "I know," he replied. "That's why it matters." Light surrounded them, warm and powerful, pushing back against the forced energy from the hunters. Instead of chaos, the energy felt balanced, strong but calm. Memories flowed between them. Lonely rides across desert stars, childhood laughter under alien skies, moments of loss and moments of hope. Neither tried to control the other. They simply accepted what was shared. The hunter leader shouted commands, but the forced ritual device began to fail. The energy could not control a bond chosen freely. Light expanded outward, disabling enemy weapons and breaking their formation. The soldiers stepped back, unable to move forward against the balanced energy. Lyra's voice echoed softly. "The bond is complete, but not as they wanted." Cole felt the connection deepen. Not overwhelming, but steady, like two paths joining into one road while still remaining separate. Together, they moved forward. Lyra released a controlled energy wave that shut down the leader's device. Cole followed with precise movements, disarming remaining threats without unnecessary harm. Within minutes, the confrontation ended. The hunters retreated, their plans broken. Silence returned to the orbital gate. The glowing energy around Cole and Lyra slowly faded into soft light. Lyra breathed deeply. "It is done." Cole nodded, feeling calm in a way he had not felt in years. "What happens now?" he asked. "The bond remains," she said gently. "But it does not take away who we are. It strengthens what already exists." They stood together at the edge of the platform, looking down at the red desert far below. For a long time neither spoke. Finally, Lyra smiled faintly. "You were a man who traveled alone." "Was," he repeated quietly. "And now?" He thought about the journey, the storm, the battles, the trust that had grown between them. "Now," he said slowly, "maybe I'd travel with someone who understands silence." They returned to the ship together. The engine started smoothly, lifting them away from the orbital gate. As the stars stretched ahead, Cole felt something new. Not the loss of independence he once feared, but the strength of partnership. The frontier was still wide and unpredictable. New dangers and new stories waited across distant worlds. But this time, he was not riding alone. And somewhere between the stars and the endless desert, a cowboy and a bride chose their own path, not because destiny forced them, but because trust made them stronger together. Their story became a legend whispered across colonies, a tale about freedom, courage, and the meaning of belonging in a vast galaxy. And the journey had only just begun.